Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite Rafael Tavares talking to you straight from our show here, The Written Writ, and of course, San Diego Comic Con with John Ottinger. And John, you just finished showing me a lot of great stuff. Take the audience on a little tour of what you just showed me.
Okay, well, thank you everyone, and welcome to the Dweores booth, which is my indie comic book. We'll start off with up there on top of that pole, we have Dodge, a sculpture of our villain with lighted effects on him. That's really cool. And then we're going to go from there to the background. This is a sculpture of Hanzo, our hero.
Wow, that's a
And
nice
here's
big
the.
one.
I'll do a little pan of the background. The concept was a little slice of the world, you know. So I wanted.
I love all the little ones inside the slice.
Right. So I even showed what's happening under the ground. I showed little tunnel systems of little animals living underneath, little fantasy creatures. Over here, some little robots that live underground. Some more little creatures. And that is our Dweores booth. We have another big surprise. And when you come by, we have some beautiful enamel pins.
Nice.
Of our
we always love pins.
Yeah. And the art book, of course.
Beautiful art book.
Yeah, and so these are all drawings I did and colored digitally. Just give you a little glimpse of some of that. This is like the character development, fleshing out the world. Really fun. Just all sorts of different characters and different cultures and tribes of the Dweores.
Right.
We have book 0 with a sketch cover option. This was blank and I did a little sketch.
I always love the sketch 0 cover.
Yeah. So it's turned out really cool, and we have some colored book.
Hey!
I'm live. So, and then we have our trade paperbacks.
Still love that cover.
And then we're going to have some limited hollow cards for sale.
So what do you think about
And these are for
John. I'm gonna have to send. I'm gonna dude. I'll Venmo you the money. Just send me the cards.
Yeah, there's only 500 sets of these made.
Oh, they're
these
so
are gonna
beautiful.
Be super rare OG cards, and these go with a little surprise I'm going to show you just in 1 minute. Right? And everyone knows the Dweores were on the Big Bang Theory for the last 40 years. Their emojis on Facebook. This is our sketchbook.
Love it.
And if you come by and if you scan our QR code, you will get for free a Dweores promo card. Only going to be at this show.
That is nice. You get a nice exclusive for going to San Diego Comic Con and checking out the Dweores while you're there. Oh my God, look at that print. Oh,
look at this. This one is one of 50. Only 50 will ever be made like this. And this is to celebrate the release of something real. I'm going to show you in
a minute.
20
seconds.
I
can't wait.
20 seconds. You have to wait for the surprise. And then here's another print. This is not limited.
That is a beautiful print. Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And then we have Hanzo. These are metal prints. So it's on aluminum.
That is amazing, man.
Yes.
They look so beautiful.
10 soda cans gave their lives to make these prints, right? And then we have our hero, Queso, and his faithful Yamchi, his little buddy. But the big reveal is ready.
Go.
Are you ready?
Run drum roll.
Ready?
Go, John.
The Dweores tabletop game. This is the world premiere of our game based on Dweores characters. And so here we are playing the game. So you're able to come out and play
It's
our
amazing.
game. This
You
is
got
Tyson.
Tyson. How you doing, Tyson?
Tyson created all of the game mechanics for the game. And he's losing badly, apparently. So this is the game, all Dweores-based gameplay. Tile-based game. There's a little ad. Here's some more people enjoying the Dweores game. And I'll give you another shot of the banner. Showing the card art. The card art has turned out really beautiful. Let me see if I can steal one from these guys. Let me steal one. I'm stealing a card for a minute. Bam.
That is beautiful. Look at that. They look even better in person. When I got the chance to play the game on online, it looked beautiful, but this looks so much like. I guess there's no words for it.
It turned out really wonderful. Really wonderful. We worked very hard on the game, and we pulled it all together for Comic-Con. Let me show the game board. These are the tile.
It looks so different in person, or on the screen.
Yeah, Ralph got to play. He was one of our game testers on the digital.
Yeah, I loved it.
Testing. There's our good friend James. Hey, James, wave to the camera.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, he says hi. Good to see you. And so, unfortunately, I'm going to flip the camera back around to me. Sorry.
So, John, I think what you should do is have him explain a little bit of the game so the audience can understand a little bit of it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to have Tyson or
exactly.
Claire. Mm-hmm. Hey, Claire, can you give a quick synopsis on the gameplay?
Sure. So this game, it plays 2 to 5. It's about. Sorry. Pardon me. Hello. So this game, Dweores Tabletop, it plays 2 to 5 players. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes per player.
Right.
It is a bidding game with an area control element and a little bit of take that, because there are special tiles that kind of change the board movement. The goal of the game is to get 10 icons of your color in a row. And since there are the tiles that kind of change where everything is on the board, it definitely is a little more challenging than just collecting 10 icons of the same color. But it's, as you can hear, lots of laughter, lots of fun. We have a great time. It's a different game every single time you play it, so there's plenty of replayability. And I've played the game many, many times in all of its iterations, and it's one of those games where there's always cheering and laughing, which to me is one of the hallmarks of a great game.
Woo!
And
that's what we like to hear. And I got a chance to play the game myself, so I know what you're talking about. It's really a lot of fun.
It really, really is. Let me pass you back to John so I can take my turn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
John, that was great. We got a chance to show the audience what they can look forward to going to San Diego Comic-Con. Dude, you got a lot of exclusives there for all the people that will be there.
Oh, exactly. Exclusives. You get to play the game, have some fun.
I'm jealous because I would love to play the game in person.
I know. I wish you were here. I really wish you were. Next year, you got to come.
You know, I've been working on getting there for a while. I think what I'm going to do is like throw the bucket and see what happens.
5625.
Yeah. And our booth number is 5625. We're in the back row. Come see us, hang out. We'll have a blast. I'll show you some cool artwork. We'll play some games. Can't wait for you to stop by. Check it out. This is the world premiere.
Really set it up next year so I can go. I want to check you out. I want to meet you in person. And I need to check out this booth of yours because it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll give you another little pan. This is our back banner.
So, John, today is like a preview of the show, right?
Yeah, it's a short day. It's only from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. Almost to my bedtime.
I have a feeling you're not going to get much sleep this weekend. Oh, there you go. They're having fun.
I haven't had much sleep this whole year. And I have a photo op we can take a picture with together or not.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it.
If you want.
I think the next thing you need to do is get somebody to come in a Dweores outfit.
Yes, we'll have a little walk around costume.
Exactly. Because I can just imagine how much fun that would be. Well, at least for the people. I don't know about the person wearing it.
Right. Oh, look, here's someone scanning the QR code, and they're going to get a free promo card.
Woo! Congratulations, people.
Woo, woo. Come by, get a free card, enjoy yourself, and God, we're so excited for this year. And, today's preview night, and we have a really nice crowd.
I gotta admit, compared to last year when you were doing this, there's a bigger crowd this year.
It's a way bigger crowd this year. Way bigger crowd. The show's going to be really fun.
It looks like it. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I really do wish I was there, but next year I'm going to have to make it happen.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we'll go. I scouted out a couple good places to get ice cream.
Oh, cool. Ice cream is always a good thing.
Yeah. So,
are you going to be able to see anybody else there on the floor, or are you going to be kind of stuck to your booth the whole weekend?
Well, actually, my day job, I work for a toy company called Dweores, who makes Squishmallows, and I'm on the Star Wars team.
Ooh.
So I got to design one of this year's Star Wars San Diego exclusives.
Nice.
That's for sale right now. So I got to walk over there, and I tried to get one, but the line was too long. So I got to try to get one. Yeah. It's I'm on the Micro Galaxy Squadron team.
Nice.
So we have 3 vehicles. Really fun. Turned out so cool. I'm so proud to work on it.
I love your job. I know you must love your job.
I do. I'm very lucky. It like any job, it's a ton of work, but
of course.
I get to play in Star Wars land all day.
Dude, that just sounds fantastic. Just to get to be creative in the Star Wars world, that's just amazing.
Yeah, and the people at Lucas are just wonderful to work with. So many wonderful creative people, and that's all. Let's show the booth again.
Oh, definitely. Ooh. That is a beautiful booth. I gotta admit, like those aluminum prints are just so beautiful. They shine in a way, because I've seen other people do prints, but yours shine really nice. Oh, look at it.
Look at that. They're just gorgeous.
How are you turned out like that? Because like I said, I've seen other people do it, but theirs don't shine like that.
Well, you just have to add the correct amount of magic to get them to shine like this. So magic is...
As a person who works on Star Wars, you know magic.
And as an artist, that's what you strive to learn to. It takes your whole life to be able to wield magic. And what I mean by magic is create emotional contact with the people viewing your art.
I have to.
If it's a spaceship or anything, there's an emotional connection to everything, and that's the secret to magic.
Dude, I can see your passion through your projects. That's just like an amazing thing to me, because sometimes we know creators and they don't seem to get their passion into their product, but you seem to put your soul, your blood, your passion into all the things you do.
If I'm doing something, I'm all in, and I go whatever I'm doing. I look at what's been done before. I create a little sheet of that, and I try to figure out how can I be 10% better than this. I'm not saying I can be 10% better, but that's my goal. How can I be different and a little better in some way?
That's a good way to look at it.
That's what I try to do. Here's some of my little guys living.
That is just amazing. You know, the detail that you have. And this is such a huge scale piece. Well, all those pieces are a huge scale. And then you got the rocket ship in the middle that's just breathtaking.
Yeah, I really try to make a wonderful experience for people.
Oh, look at that.
Come
Look
to
at
the
that. Look
show.
at that.
These are the little robots that live in the ground. Shh, that one's sleeping.
Aww.
And there's
I gotta
even
admit,
one hiding.
this is my
way
favorite
inside
part.
there.
Those little bits and pieces that you did. I remember when you showed it to me, I was like, wow.
And this
Hey,
is
a Dweores lunchbox.
Dweores lunchbox.
Oh, look at that.
Right? That's
That brings me back to my youth when we had the lunchboxes.
Yes, I've had that one since 3rd grade. Not really.
I was like, man, you are some creator. You started at 3rd grade.
Yeah, so here's the mock-up packaging that I've done for our tabletop game.
So you don't have the game there to sell right now, but you do have the sample to show how the game works, right?
Yeah, we have the samples that everyone can play. And that's why I want people to come play and have a blast playing the Dweores tabletop game.
Oh my God! Look how beautiful those cards look.
Right?
The digital does not do them justice. And not at all. The digital does not do the board justice. The digital does not do the cards justice. It looks so different.
Thank you. I take that as a great compliment. I really try to make it wonderful and different for people. So
you did a great job at it. Like I said, you really know how to capture the wonder, like you were saying.
I try. I want to inspire people's imagination, especially kids, but kids of all ages. How can I make them? How can I inspire them? How could I give them a new place to dream about?
Right.
You know, I love Marvel and Star Wars and DC and Image and all those, but now I'm trying to create a new world for them to dream about and walk through in their mind. So that's what I try to do.
You do a great job, bro, because I fell in love with your Dweores from the beginning, and one of the reasons I push you so hard is because I want people to go see this. I want people to go buy your stuff. This is amazing, and you're right. This is one of those things where children sit there and wonder of a world that you've created.
Yeah, I really wanted to make something that will make them a better, happier, inspired person.
I agree.
In some way, in some small way from this. So that's always been my goal, number one goal. I love kids of all ages. I just like how their mind ticks and the excitement. And kids of all ages, they get inspired. I have people come to my booth and they get so emotional looking at it, and they thank me for creating this world. And it's just so heartwarming to hear that, because I've worked so hard at it. And when people see it and appreciate it, it's just wonderful. I really love it.
You deserve all the accolades. This world you created is amazing. I look forward to seeing where you go with it next. I'm even working on a little story that I'm supposed to share with you. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I haven't forgotten. I've been working on it. We'll see. I want to see what you think about it when I give it to you.
All right. Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah, because
So,
you know that I'm always sending you pictures of the water towers that I see here in New York because as soon as I see them, I think of you, and my imagination just starts to run away with me as soon as I see them here, and that's what I've let work on the story for myself to see if I can get some of that one.
that, see, it's working already. They were inspiring you,
Oh, definitely.
and you're going places you hadn't gone before in your mind, and so that's absolutely wonderful.
As a writer, it's my favorite thing to go into worlds that whether it's a world that like yours or a world that I create on my own. It's a beautiful thing, and I know you've experienced yourself as a writer, diving into these worlds and creating them and making them what you want them to be.
Yeah, it's fun walking through a new world that you've created in your mind. And I walk through them in my mind, and I'm always surprised by seeing things I didn't expect and meeting characters I didn't expect. Um, it's a very, very interesting process for me when I'm writing. Because a
All I
lot
need
of it, I don't know where it's going. It just starts flowing, or I get bits and pieces
that's the
throughout
good
it,
stuff.
and then of the
Hmm.
puzzle, and then I continually build the new pieces of the puzzle and get a big picture when I'm done.
I'm waiting for either an RPG or a D&D style game from you because I would love to dive into the world of Dweores.
Yeah, me too.
See,
Well,
we're on the same page.
that's why we're here. We
Exactly.
talk. We get a chance to talk to those people.
Exactly.
We get a chance to talk to those people.
Oh
So
my God, John, it's amazing to have you. I'm gonna let you go so you can go and deal with San Diego Comic-Con.
yeah, let me give you a quick little pass of
Yeah,
the
go for it.
crowd, just for fun.
It gives us a
Show you.
chance to be there at San Diego Comic-Con with John Ottinger. Oh, look at all those beautiful booths.
All right.
John, you need to try to make it up here to New York for New York Comic-Con.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to.
It's so funny because I've seen your work here in New York without you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember at Toy
That's
Fair,
cool.
something you created was here because it was showing it off at Toy Fair. And then I found out that you created it because you posted it up on your site. And I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's always fun. I've watched shows. I've seen TV commercials, and I'm like, that thing looks so familiar. And then I'm like, oh wait, I made that last year. I totally forgot.
It was so funny to find out like later on that you had created, and it's funny because my partner Cadma had even done a little video in front of it. I think I showed it to you. I sent it to you once because we were like, oh, we found out after the fact that you had made all that stuff, and it's so funny that we ended up being there with it and doing the video.
Yeah, that's awesome. But okay, well, thank you, Ralph. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, John. And when
Really
you want to
appreciate
come on the
it.
show and talk about the game, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you. We will. We'll do another one, a little more focused after the show.
Right.
So thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope you enjoy the Dweores, and hopefully you're going to enjoy the Dweor game a whole lot.
It is fantastic. Folks, go check out Dweor. If you're in San Diego Comic-Con, do yourself a favor. Pass by the Dweor's booth. You will get some beautiful surprises and some beautiful merchandise that you can acquire. And John, of course, we'll keep showing off to everybody as you post everything so that they can see what's going on and see where you are.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend.
All right, John, have a great weekend.
Thank you. I'll see you, Ralph. Good night, everybody. Stop on by. I'll see you.
Hello, Mr. Drezen.
Mr. Tavares.
You weren't expected to start the show so quickly, I know.
No. That's all good, man. I was checking the time. I was sending an email to one person. I was responding to someone I haven't seen in 10 years. who I knew from high school, who just informed me that there is a 20-year reunion for
Ooh.
my high school class, which we're not on air. So,
oh, we are on air, brother.
Oh, okay.
We are on air. Before you continue there, as soon as you said that, I'm like, let me let them know we are totally on air. We just finished talking to John Ottinger from San Diego Comic-Con, and we started the show a little earlier than usual.
Yes. But anyways, my friend who I spoke with, he's a great guy. No, I mean that sincerely. He was always great. And he's happily married. He has a kid, and they look fantastic.
Cool.
And they're leading a great life. And
well, you know, it's always
high school. I don't care about high school.
It's always great to see the people. You know, I don't know about high school, but it's always great to see the people, the friends that you made close friendship with. You know,
well, honestly, he was one of the few actual good people I think I went to high school with. There's others, but some of them are in different states, and you know, people grow apart.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
I know half my friends from high school, from my D&D group. They're all over the country now. I think let's see, most of my D&D group, 2 of them are in Texas. One of them is in Florida. No, 2 of them are in Florida. One of them is in California.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all over the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm all over the country, and I haven't left New York in just a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Which state did I go to within the last few months? Other than Disney, I don't even consider Disney part of Florida. I mean, it's like you go to Disney. It's not part of. It's not like the rest of Florida.
You never say you're going to Florida. You say you're going to Disney. You might say you're going to Orlando, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, that seems to be all there is in Orlando right now. Is Disney, Universal, and maybe SeaWorld, unless they.
Dude, you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Mario Land, or is it Mario Land? Was that what they're going to call it?
I think I saw they were like setting something up when I was when I was down there for our honeymoon. As we walked through Universal in the rain, because we went during hurricane season.
Of course. I've been there during that time of year. It's a beautiful waterfall of rain.
Well, yeah, too bad I don't swim. Otherwise, I might have considered going on Splash Mountain in the rain. I mean, that would have been interesting, but
Splash Mountain in the rain. That does sound like an oxymoron, but a blast to have.
or a big splash, one way or another.
Well, I guess you're being splashed in 2 ways.
Yes.
As you can tell, I love Disney. I love Orlando. I love Universal. My daughter wants to go to Mario Land, or whatever it is called, and I think she wants us to go to California because I know that one's open already.
Right. As far as the California Universal is concerned, that to me was a lot of fun. Taking the Universal Studio Tour at the time that I did, right. I got to see Stage 28, where they filmed the 1925 Phantom of the Opera. Unfortunately, the stage isn't there anymore. I didn't get to see inside the stage because it was in use. I mean,
right.
It's called Stage 28 for a reason.
Thank you, Anjin-kun. Super Nintendo World.
Anjin-kun.
There you go.
Yeah, John's a great guy. One of the best.
He is.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't going to remember that name for nothing in the world. I was going to keep calling it Mario Land. I think it's because I look like Mario. You know.
Love to go. You know, when I got a Nintendo Switch, I was originally intending to get into like some kind of modern gaming thing, because
right.
there's a lot of kids in the family. A lot of my friends have kids, and they're starting to play Switch, and I'm like, I mean, if the parents don't want to play with the kid, I'll hop on Nintendo Switch Online and be like, okay, all right, Lexi, you want to play Mario Kart? Let's play Mario Kart. You want to play Smash Brothers? I'm not a Smash Brothers fan, but I'll play Smash Brothers if some little kid needs to be entertained while his parents are just kind of sitting there, BSing with me about what's going on in the world.
I gotta admit, I'm not a big fighter game fan, but I like Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite game in the world, but I really like Smash Brothers. It's not really like a fighting game in the sense of a fighting game, but I guess it is a fighting game.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, but after like 2 or 3 days, pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. But after like 2 or 3 days, I'm like, I'm going to get Switch Online, see what that's all about. And I'm playing the NES selection that they have there.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Selection, and then the Game Boy selection. And thanks to the rewind feature, I was able to, pardon me, I'm just going to close this door. Give the wife some privacy when she comes up the stairs. And thanks to the rewind feature, I was able to figure out all the things I was doing wrong with Mario 1, 2, and 3.
Really?
And, yeah. And I beat Super Mario 1 for the NES years ago, but I found myself beating Super Mario 3, and I beat Super Mario Land 2 just recently, defeated Wario, very proud of myself. I gotta say, Super Mario Land doesn't get enough love. It's
you know what it is? It's the odd man out. People don't see it as one of the games. But I played that one more than I did any of the other games. I think I played that one more than 1, and I played that definitely more than 3.
Yeah. Now I played a little bit of 3, but I think I got distracted by like 14 other things that I have going on. Oh, wait a minute. So I logged into to share this video, and let me just put this here.
Yeah, I've been sharing it as we're talking.
Yep.
Yeah, I find that I can do a couple things at the same time as long as something's happening and nobody's paying attention to what Ralph is doing. Don't pay attention to the wizard.
I can't concentrate on more than one thing at the same time, and even one can be a struggle. It's my Asperger's. It's just the simple fact that Pete Vasquez said it best. He never stopped. He says of me, he never stops coming out with content.
Exactly.
I mean,
I am amazed at the amount of content you come out with. And it's funny because every time I talk to you, you're like, I don't think I can do this, Rob. Then you do it. And I'm like, okay.
Well, case in point.
Oh, here we go.
Cases in point.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This is Luckyzilla number 34.
Look at it. Hold on. Let me put you up. Oh, look at it. Beautiful, folks.
Yeah. Now, I had this cover designed before I had figured out the story.
Right.
Because the original story that I was going with for this issue was a lot more complicated. And I think if I had went with it as I was intending to, it would have lasted 3 issues. And I was like, this is not a 3-issue story arc. This is like isolated to this book. And I wasn't going to make a 48-page book. That just was not going to happen.
Have you done a 48-page book before?
No.
Okay, there you go.
I've done a 36-page book, which was almost 40, but then I decided, because we were still in COVID, I was thinking about dollars and cents. And I was also thinking about, do I really need to stretch this any more than I already have? Because at one point, that particular book was going to be 28 pages. Because I thought, that's decent enough. I'm not overwhelming myself. But then I expanded some panels to full pages, and I ended up with 36. But, yeah.
Because I know as writers, sometimes we want to fit so much into what we're doing. and then I know there's times where we got to figure out what we can cut without messing up the story.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I eventually, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I eventually just went right back to the cover and just kind of wrote an outline based on certain elements that are seen throughout the cover of this book, because there were going to be too many characters to keep track of. And one of the big problems that I had with a recent release, Luckyzilla number 31, is I had like 5 or 6 characters that were brand new characters, 4 of which were featured quite prominently. And I had to come up with these character designs, but I also had to come up with the character designs in different states that the characters were in, because they do not stay in the same shape for those 20 pages. In fact, the further into the book you go, I feel the drawings certainly get better, but the story gets darker. In fact, it's, I would say, Luckyzilla number 31, 33, and 34 are definitely the darker, the most dark stories that we've done. 32 was a little bit more on the lighthearted side, but only to an extent. And to what extent, again, you will have to read the book. But I feel like, coming off of, the really heady stories and the ones that are very emotionally charged, the book that is taking shape now, Luckyzilla number 35, is going to be a bit more of a I can breathe now kind of thing, because previously, I will work on a story with such conviction and passion to the point where I wear myself out, and it's not because I'm worried about, oh, what are people going to think of this. It's like, on one hand, I don't care what anyone thinks of this, and on the other hand, I'm tired. So I still have to get through it. I mean, it's partly my self-imposed deadline, but also it's just, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Right.
And I'm going to do it to the absolute best of my ability.
I got to admit.
And hopefully for whoever. What happened?
No, go ahead.
Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Yeah. Forgot what I was going to say. I'll remember at some point.
It's funny because I was in the middle of something myself, and I was like, I think I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah. It's always great to hear somebody else say, well, that happens to me all the time. Then I'll go, woof, I thought it was something else.
No, I had a few situations come up this week where I found myself kind of doubting myself.
Right.
Like I almost felt like I did something wrong at some point, but then the other person reassures me, oh no, you're not the only one. I kind of felt the same way, but for a different reason. And then it's like we kind of vibe off each other, and then we start BSing about other things, because that's kind of how I roll.
I remember now what I was going to say. Yeah. I was going to tell you that I like the fact that you because a lot of writers out there, they write for their audience.
Yeah.
And I've never been that type of writer who writes for his audience. I haven't published anything yet, but I'm not the type of person that if I'm writing something, I'm writing it for me. And I don't usually hear other people say that.
Right. I mean, I definitely write for me, because I can be my own worst critic, and I can also be my own biggest fanboy. Like when I'm really,
I can agree with that.
Yeah, when I'm really in the moment and I really feel the energy of the story I'm writing, I can't help but gloat about it to myself, because I could gloat about it to a total stranger, but at the same time, until I'm ready for them to read it, it's like not so much. I mean, I feel like Yeah, I also do kind of write for my audience to an extent, but I don't always let them know that because I do want to leave something to the imagination.
Exactly. You know,
Um,
I
Disney
was
movies. Oh,
gonna,
sorry.
no, I was going to say that it's a good thing to do that because
Yeah,
I know sometimes audiences can get carried away, and
yeah.
then they start thinking that you're going to do whatever they want.
Well, yeah. I get that, and yeah, that can certainly apply to several fan bases that will not be named.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know
Yeah,
exactly
but
what I'm talking about.
oh, I know I know exactly what you're talking about, and then some. And I'm sorry. But yeah, I write for my audience, and I try to make sure that yeah, I like to have I like to have it evenly spread if at all possible. There are times I definitely feel like I'm writing more for myself than I am for my audience,
Yeah,
and then there are times I feel like I'm writing more for my audience than I am for myself. The I don't care part is usually when it's 2 weeks until the deadline and I'm just trying to get the thing done.
exactly.
But it also comes into play when, I see certain things on the news, which I very rarely watch, and I'm like, now let me tell you how it is. And then I just kind of do my best to interpret the things that I'm seeing and reacting as calmly and as proactively and productively as possible, because I have lost my cool in the past on certain things. I've been very frustrated by certain things, but now, given that I'm pushing 40, I'm trying to do some serious growing up and be an adult, like, I don't know, better than most adults, I guess.
Better than most adults. That's
Well,
all we can try to be.
yeah, yeah, but at the same time, there would be times at certain family functions where kids would be running around doing stuff, and usually my little cousins at the time, and they'd be horsing around and pile driving each other, and I just kind
I've
of
done that
sit
before.
there, yeah, and I
That's like
would
after
just kind
watching
of
wrestling.
yeah. And I would just run around with them, play whatever games they were playing, play whatever Xbox game they were playing, and watch as they embarrassed me in so many ways. And it's like my mother would say to me, "Oh, you don't hang around enough with the adults," and I'm like, "The adults aren't cool." But I think that also helped me gravitate more towards writing. For kids, not necessarily children's books per se, but
Right.
at the shows, a number of the kids that come to my booth and end up either trying out the board game or reading a comic or having a conversation with me about my heroes. It's usually someone between the ages of 7 to about 12 years old. And even though the main character in Luckyzilla is male, I've had quite a few little girls get very interested in Luckyzilla, which is great. Hey, I don't discriminate against gender. I'm like, hey, in a world of
Who's not
princesses,
gonna
dare
like
to
a
be
werewolf, man?
yeah. I mean, why not? Hey, it worked for Twilight, but I mean, this
Exactly.
isn't Twilight.
Oh, they were in love with that werewolf.
Wow. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: like, I know we talked about this before, and you have your Kickstarter that you're about to kick off,
Yes.
and so is the main reason that you didn't want to redo another issue one, or you figured let me just put all these together in one easy place to find?
Oh, the ways I could answer this question. Oh, yeah. It's partly my there are like 5 different answers on the tip of my tongue. Nothing bad. nothing
No,
bad.
I know. I know you're
But,
trying to figure out which way to go with this.
I'm-
You're thinking that, I see On is saying, some girls will take Wonder Woman over Barbie any day.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't even get me started about that Barbie movie. When I first heard about it and Margot Robbie was going to be in it, I'm like, okay, cool. But then I see the trailer and I'm like, and my wife looked at me and was like, no. And we see a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I credit my wife for enhancing my tastes in movies. Because prior to knowing my wife, if you mentioned Gilmore Girls to me, I would have been like, Gilmore Girls. Now I'm like, Gilmore Girls is awesome. One of the best written shows ever. Yeah, so getting back to your question, which I am totally not trying to avoid.
Because I think it's a great thing that you put all the issues together in the book. And I know that some of the earlier issues are hard to find as it is. And if you wanted people to get those issues, you probably would have to have done another printing of those issues.
Well, I was fortunate enough, and am fortunate enough to continue to work with the Toledo Group, which has printed every Luckyzilla book since issue number 13. And they have a print-on-demand service called comicfleamarket.com. So if you're an indie author and you're looking to have your book printed on demand and sold through their website, that's one of the services that they do. I still keep very close contact with them. They're some of the best people I know. And if it wasn't for the print-on-demand service, I mean, it would be very difficult for me to continue to produce the books because I would have to do print runs of who knows what minimum. And then on that same token, I did some of my earliest shows. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit further. Luckyzilla #1 was not the first Luckyzilla #1.
I remember.
The very first Luckyzilla comic book that I published was back in 1998.
Ooh.
I created when I was in 8th grade, and I sold 18 copies of it, but some, admittedly, I gave away for free. Oh, and I also was selling it for $1, but it cost me $3 to print each book.
Ouch.
Yeah. And,
well, sometimes you got to get your work out there, so I get it.
Yeah, all 18 copies of it. I doubt that anybody that bought that book from me at the time or got it as a freebie still has a copy of it.
That'd be interesting.
That would be. I think I know of one person who does, but who knows? On the same token, I finished that issue and I went right into 2 more issues, but my grades went on a steady decline, and so those books kind of fell by the wayside. I also wasn't very happy at a certain point with the storyline. I felt like it was too much an imitation of everything under the sun. So I decided to rework the concept. At that time, Luckyzilla was my pet dog, but mutated into a
interesting. Okay.
doll. Yeah,
that's a whole different take. That's a whole different take. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I rethought the concept, and then over the next 2 years, I was developing a much different universe of Luckyzilla, and I ended up with 2 64-page long penciled comics.
Whoa.
Of which neither were published. And I started on the 3rd one and got halfway through. Grades started slipping again. Plus, I also started learning animation. So after all that, I said, I'm focusing on animation, F comics.
Right.
And then for 15 years, no comics. And I was working at a place that I will not name. And you may have met Tom Travers at the shows. Great guy. He was a client of ours. And when he first came in and I saw his book, Battle Skull, when he was looking to show off a sample issue of it before it was inked and colored and everything. I saw it in pencil form, and I looked through it, and I'm like, I should be doing this. And being that I was working in printing, I'm like, yeah. So I wasn't really ready to commit to a printed book, so I started the webcomic. And the webcomic, I found, I could jive with that for a little bit. And so I definitely credit Tom Travers with lighting a fire under my ass.
Sometimes we need a fire.
Yeah, no kidding. And so I was like at week 25 or 26 on the webcomics, and Eternal Con in 2016 was coming up, and I had signed up for a table. So I started thinking to myself, look, I have this half-hour-long animated Lucky that's in production. It's probably not going to be finished this year. It still hasn't been finished as of now, but that's a totally different argument.
Right.
And so I was going to take the story strip that I had going at the time and put it in. Hello.
Yeah, nice to see
put
you.
it in what was going to be Luckyzilla #1.
Right.
But I had this other story which had Lucky's arch nemesis, the Ref, as the main villain.
The Ref.
So after getting through about part 7 out of the 8 parts, I was determined to take my chances and make a print version of the book. But I was also like, nah, keep doing the webcomics for a little bit longer so that this way it gets more traction. And then I decided to pull the strip from release entirely and just sell it as a print exclusive story. And that became Luckyzilla #1. I did not want to put #1 on the cover because of my prior experiences. Right. Because when there was a #1, there was never a #2. And also from my collecting days, I would come up with, I raided the bargain bins at comic book stores. I found so many #1s thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to make lots of money on this. And turns out they're in the bargain bins for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't collect for value, kids. It doesn't hold up.
The funny thing is, as a side note, the #2s are the ones that usually sell really well because when they make the #2, they don't make enough.
Yes, this is true. And I can speak to that experience because Luckyzilla #2, not Luckyzilla #1, was the first issue in the series to completely sell out of its first printing. And followed by #3, but there was also a reason for that. I printed initially 135 copies of Luckyzilla #1. Took 2 years to sell out. Luckyzilla #2 and 3 sold out in like 4 shows. But I also printed like a quarter of Luckyzilla #1. I didn't do another print run of 100 plus until Luckyzilla #7. And I'm happy to say I'm only sitting on 2 copies of that as of right now. So if this Kickstarter is successful, which I don't want to predict the future, but I feel pretty good about it. But I also, am going to be in people's faces a lot about it. No avoiding it.
That's the only way you can do it, man.
Mm-hmm. But I am preparing the next graphic novel because I always want to keep moving forward. And to finally answer your question, when I sold out a Luckyzilla #1 each time, I kept thinking to myself, that's it. I never want to print it again. But inevitably, I would have people at my booth looking for #1. And at times, and I still kind of do this, I'm like, I'll tell you what. Here, look at the origin issue, which is #7. The #1 does not tell you the origin story. It's got a blurb on the first page, spoiler alert. but it doesn't tell you a little bit. Thanks, John. I appreciate you, man.
I can see he's itching to go. Come on, come on.
Oh yeah, it's coming at midnight. At midnight, we're dropping the ball in the Times Square building, just like what I did to usher in Drezen Media in 2018. I did a ball drop animation.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Where was I going? Oh yeah, I'm like, you don't want Luckyzilla #1,
right?
Not that Luckyzilla #1 is my worst work, although there was a time where I didn't even want to look at it because it was just so long ago in terms of where I felt I was, and I felt like, you know, having to constantly reprint it was like working backwards. But it was one morning I was lying in bed. I might have been homesick from work. And I read the story cover to cover for the first time in maybe 2.5 years. And it was probably the first time I even looked inside the book in about a year. And I was like, you know, I didn't do too bad. But getting back to what I do with the shows, I'm like, what I'd really like to show you is what I'm doing with the books now.
Right.
I will give you a digital copy of #1. #1, because I don't have it here physically right now.
Right.
And #2, because let me show you what we're doing now, which
this is where we are now. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to write,
and I feel you because if I don't like looking at my original episodes of the Written Writ, the ones I recorded, because it's a whole different show.
The whole episode is great.
A whole different show.
The Red Bull episode is the best one.
Oh
boy. I feel now, him having said that, I feel your pain, Ralph. There were some early Drezen draws that I did, which didn't have music by Epidemic Sound, that I kind of look back on, and I look at some of the line work that I did, and I'm like, man, if I had only figured out my Illustrator brushes right then, I mean, my drawing of Chernobog from Fantasia in the second episode would have probably outdone anything that I had done up until that time in the Luckyzilla books, including Luckyzilla #8, which at the time was, I feel, the strongest book that we ever did. And it was also
credit though, because Drezen draws is pretty much it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of Drezen draws as of late.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I almost canceled my Epidemic Sound subscription the other day because I was like, I'm not using it. And I mean, I got a lot going on. I obviously have the Kickstarter. I just finished Luckyzilla #34, working on number 35 and 6. And I'm developing the stories for Luckyzilla numbers 37 through 40.
Ooh, that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot. Of
not
work.
only that, I'm also a married man, and I want to be sure that I'm being a good husband.
Exactly.
So I need to make time for that as often as possible because we're
still hitting the convention circuit too.
Yeah, I haven't hit a convention since CradleCon.
Right.
I do find out about these things kind of last minute on Instagram from time to time, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, it would have been nice for me to know about that.
Because you follow a certain group, a group that takes a bite out of the apple that tells you about cons and what's going on. Is it related to perhaps a show or a live stream that you are somehow connected with, that you know certain people? Is this the place where you find out about your conventions?
Fair enough. But also, I had a very real fear of being shadow banned at one point or another, or 7.
We've been there.
Yeah. I mean, with the stories that I write, you know, and I mean, I'm all about human rights. You know, I
like on is like Apple.
Apple. Yeah, I don't like to see people suffering or being marginalized or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am very aware that there are forces in this world that don't like to hear about diversity or things that sound like made up stuff. And I'm just like, come on. Somebody popped your balloon a very long time ago, and I think you need to let the hate go. Like, I was reading a Facebook post in the group in my development last night, and there's this guy that lives somewhere near us, and he's kind of like this community watch. I don't know if he's a retired cop or not. I don't care. He's just got this mean-spirited nature about him. He's writing these paragraphs about how he went on his nightly walk at about 10:05 p.m. and he saw these kids kind of fooling around, and they were in the dark, and they're outside the gates of the tennis court, and then they ran away when they saw me coming. Kids need to learn, and parents need to teach their kids that if they're going to fool around in the dark, they're going to look suspicious. And it took every ounce of my energy to resist the urge to write to this guy, probably because you scared the
Living
expletive out of them. They probably weren't doing anything wrong. They were just maybe on a first date. And everything was going well. And then, you being you kind of decided to put your foot down. And then complain about, we don't have a formalized neighborhood watch. Thankfully. Yeah. I mean, I get people's need to be safe. I'm all for it. But safety, not selfishness.
And you know what it is. People always want to stick their noses in other people's business. It's not really about what people say it is. It's always about the fact that I want to control you. It's not about the fact that I'm trying to look out for everybody. It's I want to control you. I want you to do what I want you to do. And then one of the things that I've realized, on this topic is the fact that people they want you to follow the rules, but they don't want to follow the rules.
Of course not. That's why I say the more rules I see in something, the more I'm tempted to just break them. I don't know if you still listen to Howard Stern show, but I see some of their I listen to some of their repeats of like the prank calls and stuff. Right. And Sal Governal and Richard Christie, they prank call these swap shop radio shows, and there's this one in particular that had these rules because people were calling in more than once during the show, and it's supposed to be on a non-commercial basis. So Richard and Sal took it upon themselves to get under this guy's skin about his really silly rules, and the way that the host reacts is very childish and at the same time very funny. Because he's getting called on his shenanigans.
Exactly.
I feel like, I've never done a Kickstarter before, admittedly. I feel like maybe I should be promoting this a little bit more than I have.
Well, I mean, I got your Kickstarter here on the side ready, but you right now only have the notify page on. Folks, if you I want you guys to go down to the page and press the notify button, because it actually helps the project out the more you press the notify button.
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely. And I can show you what you're getting at. I specifically had a sample book made.
Oh, beautiful. Hold on, let me put you up.
See, this is a real thing. It will not have these staples in it because, again, it's a sample book. Otherwise, it probably might have cost me twice as much to get this done.
So you're telling me this is a CGI book that I'm looking at right now?
I mean, I could make it a CGI book, but I couldn't get all this what is it called? Fluorescent lighting or incandescent lighting.
You just have RTX on. Don't worry.
RTX on.
I would probably be able to get the lighting right and color corrected by Thursday of next week, but
Right away though, it already looks different than what you've done with your regular book, so that makes it stand out by itself.
right. The cover is a cardstock. The paper on the inside is still the same that we use to print the regular books, specifically 80-pound text coated. You get a listing of each of the books, the date in which they were released, and this right here, which I meant to explain, is actually the name of the home studio that I worked out of.
Oh, cool.
Luckyzilla number 1 and 2 were made in my Hudson studio, which was on Hudson Avenue in Seaford, New York. Fairview was where I lived, Fairview Avenue in Massapequa. Biltmore Shores, as a matter of fact. I kind of admittedly took after A.A. Milne in describing the domiciles of Winnie the Pooh and his friends, such as he lived in this enchanted forest under the name of Sanders. That means he had the name in gold letters above his door, and he lived under it. So I did kind of.
I thought you were going to include something about chicken.
What?
I thought you were going to include something about chicken.
What flavor?
Sanders flavor.
Sanders flavor. Okay, I see the joke.
Honestly, I prefer Popeyes. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
You like Popeyes because it has a better taste to you, or?
I don't know, because it's Popeyes.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that because I just love the name.
Oh, that, and also their Cajun fries are bomb.
Oh yeah, the fries are fantastic. I gotta admit that. I love the Cajun fries from there. I also like their mashed potato because it actually has something to it instead of like with KFC where it's just spackle.
Yeah, I mean KFC is good if Popeyes isn't in the vicinity. If it is in the vicinity, I'm going to Popeyes.
And I gotta admit, I've been seeing more and more Popeyes pop up everywhere. Popeyes pop up.
I'm glad. Yeah. So one of the things that I am unexpectedly happy about is that the print job from my printer, the Toledo Group. I mean, I'm not color critical, and I'm colorblind to certain shades of red and green. But that
looks nice.
These colors on the covers of Luckyzilla number 1, and also in particular Luckyzilla number 3, which I'll turn to real quick. Like, I have not seen, and it's difficult to see on a screen,
right?
Because this green is actually a lot
brighter.
No, not brighter. Vibrant.
Okay,
in
vibrant.
person. I have not seen this vibrant a green on Luckyzilla number 3 since the first printing.
Right.
And I mean, I
gotta admit, it really does stand out. Like you're showing the things, and it has a pop to it.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole point of me making this sample book is to show any potential backers this thing already exists.
Right.
And the reason for showing the dates in which the stuff was published is, again, to reiterate that this is pre-existing material.
Exactly.
All I
you
have
want people to know when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah. All I have to do to get you this book once the project is funded and I have your money in my bank account is just hit print. It goes right to my printer. Like, they already have the files. They're just checking with me periodically, not just to see if I'm giving the okay,
right?
But if I am either in a coma or having a caffeine fit, or I'm just any number of things.
See, that's one of the good things about Kickstarter is that already, they're ready to go. All they need is the money to go in.
Yeah.
That means that you get it right away as soon as it finishes.
Yeah, and it's a very low risk, very
You're
easily
getting the book.
deliverable. Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And we got a bunch of different tiers you'll see on the campaign once it launches. The book is going to retail for $35.
Right. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the costs of printing. I mean, I would have liked to have retailed it for a little bit less, but also at the same time, I didn't want to have to sacrifice quality.
Exactly.
And quite honestly, my old boss Nick would not let me sacrifice quality because his name was on this book as much as it's mine. And
what are you talking about? No, this book is coming out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you get the first 6 issues of Lucky. You get the introduction by me, which you can take or leave. I mean, personally, I up until I met my wife, I was Rich Drezen cartoonist, and my wife has helped me see that I am Rich Drezen. Like, there's more to me than just Luckyzilla. Although, yeah, Luckyzilla admittedly is a big part of me, and he was my escape from some of the lesser moments that have happened in my adult life.
I gotta admit, Rich, that we've gotten to know you as Rich, not Luckyzilla guy, and we look forward to seeing you as Rich.
Of course,
so I think your wife has something there. So
my wife keeps me on Earth.
You always need somebody to ground you.
Yes, both literally and figuratively.
True.
Oh yeah.
I know if I let my imagination run away with me, things are going to get.
I mean, my imagination runs away with me constantly. Like when my bachelor party was being planned, like there was at least one point where one of my groomsmen was, thinking of one thing, and then when I heard about it, I'm like, well, what about this? And then and how about this? And then before you knew it, it turned into something out of a Dr. Seuss book, but like monkey bone levels of bizarre. And they were just kind of like, yeah, I guess there is no out Rich Drezen. So they opted instead to us going to Barcade in Brooklyn.
Love Barcade. Oh, it's a blast. It's always a blast.
Yeah. And it's even more of a blast that I think that location finally got a 6-player X-Men. Because the 14th Street location had the 6-player X-Men.
Dude, that always makes me flash back to being a kid in a comic store. Because they had it in the comic store that I used to go to. Oh my God. Well, we used to that's when you in the old days when you actually hung out at a comic store for like half the day, especially on New Comic Book Day.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You mean like today?
Oh, dude, yeah. It was
with a certain other person that we are now hijacking the show for?
it gave me flashbacks to be hanging out with Mark Torres, showing off Designated. It felt like the days when you would go to a comic store on New Comic Book Day and just talk to your friends, hang out. And the comic book store guy will always try to throw us out because he's like, "Come on, guys!" I'm like, "We bought all these books. What do you want to throw us out for?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we didn't buy anything.
Yeah. My comic book store days in my youth were a lot different because, I didn't hang out with a lot of the kids that were reading comics in those days. I didn't go to the comic book store on the same days that they did. And also, I tried to get in with the popular crowd, and none of them read comics, and they were just kind of like, "Oh yeah, this guy reads comics like a doofus." Like, But I always
words.
yeah. I always used to frequent Serious Comics in Massapequa, which is unfortunately no longer there. Stinky's Comics, formerly of the Busy Bee Mall in Massapequa, which is also no longer there. And then
all of the old stores are gone.
Yeah. And I mean, as someone who has worked at a video store, I mean, I have made a nasty habit of working for businesses that are dying or have gone out of business.
You kind of sound like Mark Torres working for Blockbuster.
Yeah. No, I think I remember he was telling me that. He told me at least one or two Blockbuster stories that I can't remember, but they'll probably always be better if they come from him.
Oh, definitely. If you guys want to hear some good Blockbuster stories, hit up Mark Torres. Ask him about his experiences as a Blockbuster. He'll regale you with some beautiful stories.
About the only good Hollywood video story that I have. Well, there's a few. One that I'm not going to tell because it might ruin a couple of marriages.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It was another one. There is one I can tell, but it's very boring, but it's also very short. I started working for Hollywood Video 20 years ago this past February. We still rented VHS tapes. We were still renting Nintendo 64 games.
Oh, the old days.
Yeah. And on the shelf and in the cooler, in respectively, were Tabasco flavored popcorn and Pepsi Blue.
Pepsi Blue. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a flashback.
Yeah, no kidding. You can get it in Japan, only it's Pepsi Blue Hawaii, unless they took that away too.
It's probably still there.
That was another good reason to visit Japan.
Along with Godzilla and Rodan.
Definitely. I know that big Godzilla you zip tie into. It sounds great to me.
Yeah. My wife will never go on that. My wife doesn't even want to go to Japan. I mean, I do, and it's not just for Godzilla, but I have a great appreciation for Japanese culture, and I also hear stories from Lloyd Kaufman about going to Japan to film the Toxic Avenger 2 and 3, which at one point was just Toxic Avenger 2 until they cut it in half and it became those two movies.
Love the Toxic Avenger.
Oh,
Toxic. Yeah. I see On is saying the Hollywood Video that was demolished in favor of a TD Bank in 2012.
Yes, that's right. It actually closed it closed Christmas Eve 2009.
Wow.
Like, of all the days to close a business, you close it on Christmas Eve.
I get. Well, you know what would have made more sense? Close it on New Year's Eve.
You would think, but knowing what Hollywood Video Corporate was at that time, and I mean, especially like right from the moment where they tried to compete with other DVD rental services, like, I mean, Netflix. I think they just did away with disc rental, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, they're trying to compete with Netflix. They're trying to compete with whatever the hell Blockbuster was doing at that time. It was just, the writing was on the wall. They were just, trying to write it out for maybe tax write-offs or something. But it just didn't work. And, we were constantly being badgered to sell people these things. And very often, I just refused to let people know about the bundles. I mean, they knew about it. It's right there in front of them. It's right there on the side. It's on the decals on the window. I mean, I know people know how to read.
Yeah.
And if there's something they're interested in, I'll be happy to explain it to you. But I'm not going to jam it down your throat. And that's why I've almost always had trouble with selling myself to some people, and why I hate to be the guy that's asking for money. But also on the same point, you don't get money unless you ask for it.
Right.
Then how about we do this?
Yeah.
What are you most excited for in regards to this Luckyzilla collection?
Ooh.
Because it is a project you're passionate about. But what is the exciting thing about it?
The exciting thing about it is making the first 6 issues, which are either in extremely short supply or completely out of stock and therefore out of print, available to our most recent fans who have caught up with Luckyzilla's most recent adventures, and showing them where the series started, and at the same time being able to show them, as I'm going to be showing them throughout this campaign, the creation of the next Luckyzilla adventure.
Right.
Being able to show people that this is truly my passion, and there's almost always more to learn.
Sebastian!
Who, by the way, drew the cover for Luckyzilla number 11, and along with my best man, my best friend, and New York Emmy award-winning writer, editor, and documentarian Kevin Lasani on Luckyzilla number 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good when people come in and do a nice collab, and these are the people that you care for and love for, and they're working on something that you actually have passion for.
Definitely. Yeah, and Sebastian was one of my early supporters when I was new to the convention scene. I had only done like maybe 2 or 3 shows at that time, and I think it was at In Beyond 2016 when I first met him. And then I found out that he's in the Bronx, and I was doing Kids Comic Con in the Bronx. And this is, of course, prior to COVID. And he came down, we're hanging out for a little bit. And then I got to know him even better than I had at In Beyond, because at first I couldn't even remember his face. It takes me a while to start remembering somebody. And again, we also get into my Asperger's, and it's also the simple fact that since I started doing the shows, and since I started working in customer service, I have seen so many people come and go through my peripheral vision, and it's almost like going back to what Jack Nicholson said during the making of The Shining, where it's like a person with the level of exposure that I have meets in 1 year 10 times the amount of people a normal person meets in their entire life. And I'm not a celebrity, but at the same time, I get it, because I'll have people coming up to me in some place.
Yeah.
And like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like,
I saw you at so-and-so.
Yeah, and I'm trying to place them, and I'm like, oh, God, what was your name again?
Well,
At least you remember me. That's more than most people. I'm not joking. It's more than most people.
No, and I mean, if there's someone that's kind of behind the scenes, or maybe someone whose face I don't see all the time, then it's even harder for me. But even the ones, and also the people that I like. I mean, I like everybody. The people I don't like, I don't talk about, because that's rude. But
but also, you don't got something nice to say, you don't say it.
Yeah, either that, or I just try to bury it in the back of my head, and only talk about it to the people closest to me.
Don't worry, Lou has no hard feelings.
Let's see, Sebastian says, if you have anime plot, Nate will remember.
Anime plot.
I mean. Stop following my second Instagram account, Sebastian.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I hope Shadow Rabbit.
Trouble.
I hope Shadow Rabbit Lou is doing great.
Yeah, he's kind of busy right now, but he's doing pretty good.
Yes.
We like to let people know that he's okay. He's just really busy.
Yes. Oh, I imagine, and I keep telling everyone whenever they are we get on the subject of something that they're trying to create, I'm like, yeah, you're looking for figures. I know a guy that can do that.
Oh, I'm constantly doing that.
Yeah,
I know Shadow must get tired was like, who? Why are you sending me all these people?
Yeah. Well, I mean, why? Because I
He's
mean,
amazing.
yeah, there are also other sculptors I see from time to time. I mean, it's like, and they're good. I don't know if they're that local or not, but I mean, also at the same time, it's like Lou has become so like ingrained in us, especially speaking about me and my wife. He made the cake topper
Cake topper
at
which was
our
amazing.
wedding.
I saw the picture when you put it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I showed it on the last.
Yeah, you did. You went looking for it and showed it off.
Mhm.
And we also seen the groomsmen
Oh my god.
figures that you had them make. Those were amazing. They
Yeah.
look exactly like the people that you have them make for.
Yeah. I can't say that the version of my niece that he made for my brother-in-law looks exactly the same, but I'm gonna find out on Friday because I plan on working from home and visiting my little niece. I think
Sebastian says Luke cares for what he does for his clients and is such a humble dude. Love this guy.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's something else. I mean, one thing I've always appreciated about this convention community out in these parts is the fact that when people come together, they tend to stick together, and that's awesome. And him being a part of all this, it's sort of like a safety net in a way, because people come and go throughout your life, but when you see familiar faces, particularly when you're having a bad day, but also when you're having a good day, it elevates you that much more.
It does.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a good support system.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would be nowhere without my support system. I actually do talk about that a little bit in my introduction to the book, because I was like, I don't know if I want to write a foreword. Like, I don't really like to talk about myself. I'd rather just have my readers see my life through Luckyzilla, because it's like, I like to have my life outside of Luckyzilla. I enjoy it more, because of all the things I've mentioned. But also at the same time, I feel like everything that Luckyzilla does is with the most conviction. Like, each successive iteration of Luckyzilla since I first created him has become a little bit bolder, a little bit more ambitious, but this Luckyzilla, like, is so much me and so much not me.
Right.
Like, if let's say Bruce Deodato and I were roommates, he'd probably be carrying me. Because I would be a terrible roommate. I mean, it's like I try to do everything right for maybe the first 2 weeks, and then I would just kind of fall off the wagon and be like, I can't adult today worth of...
Oh, I can feel it. Because sometimes we just don't want an adult. You know, I still do the same thing. Anytime somebody goes, we need an adult, I look around the room. I go, oh, I'm an adult.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder how many Gohan moments a week the average adult has. Like, between the ages of 27 and 57. Okay, maybe 53. Because by 57, I mean, I don't know. I'll let you know when I get to 57. Varieties, that is. Yeah. I briefly mentioned trauma at some point. Now, the last time I blew through these parts, I didn't have this out yet, so let me show this off. This is my Blu-ray cover for the 1987 film Lust for Freedom.
I remember you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, this was a wonderful movie that Troma helped finance and was executive produced by Lloyd and Michael, which was written and directed by Eric Lucille, who gave us Class of Nukem High 2, Subhumanoid Meltdown, and Class of Nukem High 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid. He also produced Sizzle Beach USA, which starred a very young Kevin Costner. More on that perhaps later in the year, but I don't want to give away too many details.
He hasn't done his convention in a while, right? Since before the pandemic, right?
Oh no. I think they did one last year, but Troma just finished at the Mahoning Drive-In over in Pennsylvania, Tromathon, this past weekend. And I believe Troma Dance is September 1st through about the 3rd.
Because we had covered it a couple times for him.
Sure.
And, it was a lot of fun. It's one of those things that you actually really enjoy. You got to see some good films, some stuff, up-and-coming stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Trauma stuff. It was really nice.
Yeah, I heard, because unfortunately I wasn't able to go to Tromathon this year, but one of the films that they recently released, Liam Regan's Eating Miss Campbell, has gotten a lot of attention, and rightfully so, because it is a really great film. And Liam Regan, the director, is a marvelous human being. Such a sweetheart. And he's been to the Troma office a few times. I'm glad he was able to get out here and see the reactions to his film on the drive-in screen.
Right.
I was told that it went over huge. And Eating Miss Campbell speaks to me on so many levels that, I won't say all of them, but I really got the main characters. Like, they presented things in such a way that some of the difficult days that I've had over the course of my life, I look at this character and I can smile, and it's like the main character is saying, yeah, you made it through, you're all right. I mean, there's more to it than that, because after all, it is a Troma movie.
It is a Troma movie. And it's always surprising to see what happens in the Troma movie.
Lloyd will tell you that no one ever forgets a Troma movie.
No.
Even if
I have never forgotten any Troma movie I have ever seen.
To be fair, I forgot most of Toxic Avenger Part 3, but that's not because I didn't like it. I did like the film. I've just seen so many movies throughout my life that, for some strange reason, the events of that film have kind of gotten away from me.
I find that when I think about Toxie, I guess because it's Toxie, when I think about all three movies, I can't pick out what's from what movie. I remember all the stuff that happened. I just can't pick out. I can't tell you that happened in this movie and that happened in that movie, because to me it's just the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. No,
and I remember the cartoon.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, loved the cartoon.
Yeah, and it's funny. I when the Toxic Crusaders game was announced, and I saw the gameplay footage from that, I was just blown away. And next thing I know, we're being told, oh yeah, we got these postcards, so that people can wish list this, and I'm like, okay. And I say that as sitting over here is my signed copy of the Sega Genesis version of Toxic Crusaders.
Oh, look at it.
Complete with the instruction manual.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The flashbacks.
I won't say what I paid for it, but it
must be a pretty penny, because that thing's hard to find.
It's not that it's hard to find, it's that whoever has it knows what they can get for it.
Maybe that's what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
look who it is. It's Lou himself saying, "Love all you guys."
Hi, Lou.
We love you too.
I
Yeah.
won't forgive you for not joining us on our raid.
Yeah, we were playing Pokemon earlier, and yeah, don't worry about it, Lou. We just wanted to see if you want to join us.
I will never forgive you.
Of course, Nat is kidding.
I will never forgive you.
Now I remembered on
Mhm.
on Tuesday. No, not Tuesday. Last week.
Right.
I thought to myself, Toxic Crusaders. A lot of kids play video games, so
Mhm.
I taught my camp groups how to draw Toxic Crusaders Toxie.
That's cute.
It was, and the drawings were amazing. I'm gonna tell everyone right here.
Toxie's a good character to draw.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and I also found myself referencing Pete Puma of Looney Tunes fame.
Ah, Pete.
Because when it came to embellishing Toxie's face,
Oh,
I was like,
4.
yeah, I was like, I want y'all to draw a whole lot of lumps, and they're like, well, how many?
A lot of lumps.
Yes.
Oh my
Well, I
God.
mean, also to
Love Pete.
get them going, with certain special needs kids, it really helps if you specify, because that'll help guide them. And I have to say this publicly to anyone and everyone that is watching: never underestimate children. They are so much smarter than you think they are, and I'm not saying this from experience of having underestimated a child. I'm saying this from the experience that, I go in with zero expectations, and these kids exceed what the expectations I don't have every single time. It's like I just kind of show them the way, and they just dazzle me, and it makes me feel really good. Not just because I see it, but I also hear from the other staff. They're like, "Oh yeah, the kids love what you're doing." I mean, whether they can express it or not, and a lot of them have, which is great. But also to hear it from not just them. Hey, it means I have another summer gig lined up in advance.
It's always good to support all that stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Lou has to answer going, Pokemon and anime are the way for sure. And Luckyzilla books, of course.
Yes. Yeah, there are so many of them. I mean, every time I prepare for a convention, I'm always like,
how many do we got? What?
So many of them. And I mean, like I said, I sold out of most of the first 6 issues. I probably have like 3 or 4 copies of number 4. I probably have at least 1 copy of number 6.
Right.
I might even separate the staples from that and perfect bind them into the graphic novel, so that this way you have an actual somewhat first run copy of, let's say, Luckyzilla.
That'd be interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. I wouldn't say that that I'm a crusader for the environment, because first of all, I don't want to take Toxie's job away.
Exactly.
But second, it's like I could just pile a whole bunch of newly printed stuff up, or I can take what I have, which is clean enough anyway. I mean, the stuff that has a few wrinkles in it that are like readers' copies of the shows, I wouldn't take from that, because you never know. It's just like when you go to a garage sale and you see one of those old box TVs, and you maybe want to hook it up with the RF wires like you used to for your Nintendo or your Atari. But the TV looks like somebody sneezed on it in several places and never cleaned it off, which is always nice. I'm glad I don't do box TVs anymore. For one thing, those suckers are heavy.
They are. They definitely are. They're really heavy.
Yeah, and when I see them on eBay, people are asking outrageous prices for them, and I'm like, I've messaged at least 2 sellers being like, look, I know it's your item, but you do realize that if you were to walk into a thrift store, they'd probably be selling that same TV for like $20. I just don't understand what goes through people's heads at times. But hey, I mean, if they get that kind of money for it, I mean, hey, more power to them. I mean, it's just, I kind of look at things the way that I look at them. Like if someone is selling a copy of New Mutants 98 for $500, but I have a copy like myself that is looking hi Pete.
Hey,
but
Pete.
If I have a copy myself that is maybe in better condition than the one they're selling, I'll probably ask for a little less. I'm launching at midnight,
which is about 20 minutes away.
Yep. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I mean, I'm just looking to make a sale, put some money in my pocket,
right.
And whatever. I'm not looking to gouge people.
It's funny that you say box TVs because I just had like a sad incident because my TV for my bedroom is an old box TV and it finally blew out, and it's kind of sad now because we've had that TV for a long time, and you sit there going, oh well, but at the same time you don't want to get rid of it, but there's nothing you can do with it anymore. It's not like before where you can take it somewhere to get fixed.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
There was a whatchamacallit, a TV VCR repair that was on the corner of I want to say North Suffolk Avenue and North Broadway in North Massapequa. And it was there for, I want to say, 25 years. And just about a block or two, I want to say north of that, was Mr. Video, which my family and I frequented between the time I was about 4 years old to about the time I was 8 years old. And I ended up with a full cardboard point of purchase display for Disney's The Jungle Book.
Whoa.
I wish I could say that I kept it.
I was going to say, if you're going to say you kept that, oof.
We had it set up in the basement for about a month. And then my parents got sick of it and put it in the dumpster.
Pete's like, midnight on the East Coast? Seriously? And then On is like, Pete's in the house!
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't know if any of you noticed this, but sometimes I have a tendency to be in more than one place at the same time. And maybe you didn't happen to see me sneeze about just before the moment that that Pete joined us on stream. But an interdimensional version of myself sneezed, pressed OK, and I think, Ralph, maybe you should try refreshing that window with the upcoming project. Because I think that interdimensional version of myself launched the project.
It already has $18 on it. Look.
Yep.
Oh, wait, it's going up. $78. Woo!
Oh, it did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's already got $78. We saw it rise here, folks.
Oh, yes.
See, Pete's already saying, check your backer count.
Yay. Thank
backers, $78. That's a great start.
I would say that is a fantastic start. And both of you know that I love you all, and I'm happy to see this coming through.
There you have it, folks. It has launched. Go check it out. You want these books? I'm telling you, they're fantastic. Luckyzilla is a great character, and Rich does a fantastic job at making these stories to life. And On is saying that the other one is him. Wait, hold on. There you go. And me. And Pete's adding, I have a ton of questions. Why aren't you talking about the campaign?
We
We did
were.
that. We did
We
that.
were.
Yeah.
We were.
We did that maybe 3-4 times over already.
Yeah, we've actually talked about
Oh,
the
we're
campaign a
talking
couple of
about
times. Go
Now-
through the campaign right now. Okay, Pete's giving you an order, so you better do it.
Oh no, I have. I have.
Luckyzilla. Let's see what we got down here. What on earth is Luckyzilla? Good explanation. Some nice little art here.
Yes.
Ace Detective, his special ace.
Mm-hmm.
The color just really pops. And I've read your books, but I feel like there's something that feels like it's been added or something.
I try, man, and especially with the sets that I'm doing now.
Right.
On one hand, I will never forgive Micro Center for the terrible job they did trying to clear something from my old computer, which I now use for my 3D modeling. But on the other hand, it's given me a chance to start fresh on a thing that's designated specifically for the 3D stuff, to hone my skills in building set pieces for the backgrounds.
Right.
And I started building the set pieces because I really cannot stand drawing backgrounds. I mean, one of the chief
I don't blame you.
that I hear from comic book artists and what they really don't like to draw is backgrounds. I see guys drawing beautiful backgrounds.
Right.
And hey, more power to them. I mean, do whatever you want. Speaking only for myself, though, what I find is the more flexibility I give myself, the better I can perform. And if I spend time drawing this beautiful background,
Right.
and then all of a sudden the character just doesn't seem to fit into it, well, that's a bit of a loss.
That's a major loss. Yeah.
Let's see. Case in point. Now, this one was also a bit of a challenge. In Luckyzilla number 3, I had this very elaborate set right here, which the villain is making her first appearance on this page.
Hold on. I'll put you right up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right.
And now, all of this, all the trees and everything, this did not show up in my 3D software as I was trying to plot out the camera angles. Only the mountains would show up, only the grass would show up. And it's like I would kind of have to eyeball it.
Right.
And thankfully, I was able to eyeball it. And through a process of trial and error, get the camera angle to exactly where I wanted to be, because if I had to like redo something at this stage, I mean, oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, again, all about showing that this item is a real item.
Exactly.
I've heard some horror stories about.
I never got my thing.
Yeah. And I've heard horror stories about people giving X amount of dollars to a Kickstarter campaign. I won't mention any names because, I mean, it's like, what is that going to get us? The
Sure.
point is to learn from that experience. I gave to a Kickstarter campaign where I got some nice rewards, but the project itself that came out of it was a dud. It was like, why the hell did I give money to this? I mean, I got some nice pieces before the thing came out, but then also, you have people that do certain projects, they get all this money, and then for 3 years you don't hear about the thing.
Definitely.
I can't.
I've seen that over and over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
At
actually
one
waiting
point,
for one or two things still.
oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I've been that guy that complains in the workplace when there's no soap in the bathroom. And I would be the one to complain about soap in the bathroom because I wouldn't have the keys to open up the soap dispenser so that I could fill it myself if I see that there's no soap in there. Meanwhile, you got overworked maintenance guys who are paid pennies to manage 2 different facilities with maybe one other person helping them, and that's no good. People got to treat their workers right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of, I would say, the most difficult things for me in designing this book was designing the cover, because I had a million ideas, and
I think what you've gotten is really great, because it's so like it just pops.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done so many different things, but I feel like this really is what it should have been.
Sure. Yeah, I was gonna have the 6 covers on the back of the book, like just all together, not like step and repeated as it is here. So I was trying to come up with different color combinations. I was also trying to decide whether I was going to do issues numbers 1 through 12 or 1 through 6, and I figured I would go with 1 through 6 because I still have plenty of 9, 10, 11, and some of 12.
Right.
Well, not as much of 12, but you get the idea. And it's like, let me see if I can still get some single issue sales on that. But hey, we get closer to our goal. And
here's a question for you.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
You got your Kickstarter up. Have you considered maybe doing a catch-up tier? I know it's a lot of books, and it'll probably be a lot for the mailing. Or maybe some, something with getting some of the books that you do have out already.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the add-ons that we have, let me just jump to that real quick now that this thing is live and I can see everything. Or can I see everything? Let me see. Let me go to the back end, because okay. Yeah, we got we just jumped to 138.
All right. It keeps on rocking. Woo!
Yeah, where are we? Let me see something. I know what my rewards are. I swear, it's just if I don't have a thing listed in front of me, it's like one of the add-ons that we have in the reward tiers. Well, actually, the add-on that we have is a 1-year subscription to the current issues of Luckyzilla.
Ooh, I like that.
And that's going to get you. That's going to get you Luckyzilla number 33 to 36.
Nice.
I am going to say live here, and I would also mention in our reward updates, which I'm going to start writing this weekend, to some of our very generous backers already, who thank you, I love you, and there's something else, but I'll get back to that in a minute. That if for whatever reason you happen to have any of those issues already that I mentioned, the only one that you could have by this point is Luckyzilla number 33, and you want to exchange it for another one, you can let me know about that. I'm pretty easy. I'm flexible. Pretty good. Yeah, to your point, the catch-up tier, I agree. Also, at the same time, I've had so many ideas going through my head.
Well, the good thing is you have so much stuff that you have all these things you can do.
Yeah. At one point I thought about adding the board game to the thing, but
that'd be a good tier.
It would be, but the reason I didn't is because right now I'm currently down to only one game.
Oh, that's right. We discussed this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to reprint. Yeah.
Yeah, but there could be, and I don't want to say for sure until I actually have, but be on the lookout for a Luckyzilla the Game Kickstarter. I can't say exactly when, just be on the lookout for it.
Pete has a question. He goes, your shipping didn't pop up when I pledged, and neither did the add-ons.
Interesting. Very interesting. I will look into that.
That's one of the good things about doing this live is we get instant feedback. I had a feeling Pete was going to say that the board game should be a stretch goal. You should have stickers as stretch goals too, of course, of each character. Good ideas.
No, yeah, definitely. And add-ons
and the video that you have here, is it you talking about it, or did you do a special video for the Kickstarter?
Oh, I don't want to spoil that. If you were to play it, I mean,
we can play it. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Here we go. Hopefully it'll play right.
An ace detective and his special ace are tasked to make the world a brighter place. On foot, in flight, and into outer space. Protecting the innocent from those who give chase. In spite of all danger so bitter to taste, for peace and for justice, he's on the case. Creator, artist, and publisher Rich Drezen offers you the first 6 issues of this long-running adventure comic series, all in one volume. Luckyzilla Collection 1. Fun for all ages and families. Pledge today for just $1 and receive our special thanks. Pledge $5 and get your name in the printed book. Pledge $35 and get the book.
Hi, I'm Rich Drezen. I'm the creator of Luckyzilla, and I've been publishing these comics for a very long time. Here, case in point, one of our recent releases, Luckyzilla number 32. But I still keep getting asked about our earlier books and when they're coming back in print. Well, wait no further. Put your dollars to work, pledge today, and help make this Dog Night dream a reality.
All right. I see what you mean. Now that was a surprise. I was not expecting that.
I'm glad. Yeah, I struggled to come up with a concept for a Kickstarter video.
I like the fact that you did something different, you know, something that like a lot of Kickstarters don't do. You know,
Yeah,
we see a lot of these videos.
sure.
You know, and most of the times it's just talking heads.
Yeah. No, I mean, everyone has their own way of expressing whatever their project is, and I mean, some people are more skilled than others in getting that across. I mean, there are also those that are just out to make a buck. One of the most amusing Kickstarter campaigns that I saw was someone trying to raise, I think it was $2,500 for an animation pilot.
Ooh.
That all they had was a rough outline for, and their campaign story was them outlining the entire plot of this thing.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, well, why am I going to invest in this
If I just
if
saw
I
the whole
know how
movie.
it ends?
I just saw the whole movie.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am astounded.
Yeah.
I can't.
I've seen stuff. Yeah. Oh man. Luckyzilla is now on Kickstarter. Let me refresh this so we can see. Yeah, so we got 138, 3 backers, 29 days to go. Come on, folks. We're just trying to get to 1,600.
Yep.
To fund. That's an easy goal. We should be able to do that before tomorrow. Come on, folks.
Hey, I mean, miracles take a little time, but hey, I'd be happy with that.
Exactly. If anything, we got more than enough time in 29 days to get there and get them double the money, maybe triple the money.
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly am not worried if I annoy people too much to the point where they're just like, leave me alone. And meanwhile, I'm like nowhere near them. I'm just like, I'm just telling you about what I'm doing, or it's like, say I go to a family party and they're like, so what's going on with you? And I'm like,
this new comic I have.
I mean, I could probably answer them being like, well, are you on Facebook? No. Well, why not? Well, if you were on Facebook, you would know what I was doing.
Exactly. So support the book
by
now.
the way, donate to my Kickstarter.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean that's going to be me the rest of the month.
We'll help you out in getting the word out and making sure people see it. We'll be as annoying as you are.
Yeah, but I do want to say before we go any further, the person that is even more responsible for this Kickstarter than I am, someone who has believed in me for a very long time. I want to give a very special shout out to Pete Vasquez, half of Fat Guy Inc. He is a trailblazer, and he is amazing at what he does, as well as his partner Brendan. Every time I saw them at a show and we got to know each other, it's always been like having that extra bit of family that I didn't know I had. And I always took the route of, I don't know if I need to do a Kickstarter, if I deserve to do a Kickstarter, or it's just too much for my brain to process. Again, Asperger's. It's not like I use it as a crutch. It's just there are some times where my brain cannot process something, not to the point where it overwhelms me, but it's just, I just can't contemplate.
Makes life a little more difficult. Yeah, I get you.
And also, I admittedly was very spoiled by the print on demand that one of my previous jobs had, and it was a lot to kind of turn my head a little bit. But he made a lot of really good points. I took it all to heart, and I started paying attention to what other Kickstarters were doing.
Yeah,
and in the end,
the ways you got to do it, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And in the end, I with all the information I absorbed from him and from Sebastian Bonnet and Alex, I have his book right here. I'm gonna butcher his last name, but they had a successfully funded Kickstarter recently. Bucket Comics.
Yeah, we love the Raven guys.
Yes, good old Wayward Raven.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, they're all over the place. They're good guys. We always have a lot of fun when we run into them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alex Sapounsis. Alex, if you're seeing this, I apologize for butchering your last name. I'm not
It
normally
happens.
to butcher last names, and I beat up on myself for doing so. For the first like month or so that I was at Troma freelancing for them, I was mispronouncing Michael Hers' last name as Hertz. So I wasn't looking to rent a car. I was looking to get paid doing graphic design.
That's fine.
Yeah, and people think Michael Hers is elusive, but honestly, every time I go into Troma, I see Michael Hers. Great guy.
We know where to find you now with the Kickstarter. What's
Yes.
all your other information so people can go look for you and check out all? Well, besides our book here, they can check out all the other books you have.
You can start at luckyzilla.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, respectively, at Luckyzilla Comics. On Twitter, Tumblr, and I believe I'm still on Hive and Mastodon. I am at Luckyzilla. Believe it or not, there was someone that actually took at Luckyzilla on Facebook and Instagram, which I was not very happy about.
Okay, that's interesting.
Unfortunately, in reporting those usernames, that means the username is no longer available for me to use, but oh well. I still own the copyright, so it's like I would have not done the Kickstarter. I wouldn't have even published all these books up to this point if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course, Mark Torres is saying Newsday famous Rich Drezen.
Yes. Yeah, I think I actually reached out to them about coming on and hawking my wares, unless I'm thinking of News 12, because maybe it was News 12. Maybe I'm also thinking of Elisa Di Stefano, who used to be at News 12 and now is at Newsday TV. So I'll probably bother her.
Yeah, keep spreading the word, because that's the best way to get this. Folks, if you can't support either, sharing actually helps a lot. So if you can't do it, you share. And if you can only do $1, then do $1, because the counter helps it out. The more people are applying to this project, the better the algorithm looks at this project and puts it out there for other people to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to put this out here too, as long as we're live. Some of this money that I will profit off of from this Kickstarter is not just to print the books, print more books, and make sure that all the backers, of course, are taken care of first.
Right.
But with any of the proceeds that don't go towards my credit card bills, and also, of course, because life is life is life. I will be donating some proceeds that I get from this to the Transgender Resource Center in Long Island, to Sid Jacobson, JCC, and all the work that they do, including putting on Camp Kahilla, where I am doing cartooning workshops for their camps, and hopefully will continue to do so for as long as I'm able to hold a pencil, pen, or reasonable equivalent. I'm definitely looking to be a part of the next generation's lives in as positive a way as possible, because our children are going to inherit this world, and it would be preferable if they didn't inherit our mistakes in the process, and that's what I'm hoping to alleviate,
right,
in as best a way I can. Because anytime a kid leaves my table with a Luckyzilla comic or a Luckyzilla game or a Luckyzilla Blu-ray disc of my earlier work, I feel like sorry. I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Right.
And I feel like my purpose is even evolving at that point. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I could I could gloat even more about the collection, which of course, every time I pick this book up, I'm like, I want
showcases. You can get it right away.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of almost want to staple this thing to me so that I can get used to seeing almost nothing but
It's
this.
real.
And my wife's, but maybe I will. I mean, this is a rather nice shirt that I'm wearing, but let's see. No, I didn't actually staple it.
I didn't think you did.
No, I know you didn't.
There you have it.
It's going to be convincing if I could.
Exactly. There you have it, folks. Luckyzilla is live now. Go support it. Go do your thing. Go make this a reality. All we need to do is get to 1,600 to make it fun. And of course, we know that we need to put this higher than that, because the more money you put into this, the more the creator puts back. And that is one of the big things about Kickstarter. Nobody's making any money. We're just trying to get you the books into your hands.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I would give this to someone right now, but I'd actually rather give them a fresh copy, because this one is going to get me to hell every place that I bring it. And I'm going to bring it with me everywhere. Even if I'm not allowed to bring it inside with me, I will bring it with me everywhere to remind myself, oh yeah, have I posted about this today? No? Okay. All right. Make a quick video like, hey, have you backed this yet? If you
exactly what you need to do, bro.
Yeah. I'll get used to seeing as much of me as you can tolerate, or as I can tolerate, or that you can't tolerate, because I will find ways. But more importantly, let me even put it to you this way. I don't want to sell you this book, all right? Because if I sell you something, that means I never see you again. I would rather give you, for a nominal fee, some really awesome, eclectic, hilarious experiences that you don't currently have on your person. That maybe these will remind you of other experiences that you've had. Maybe that are more elaborate, maybe that are more, I don't know. I don't want to say sophisticated, because I think I'm plenty sophisticated. Thank you very much. But maybe this is the missing piece on your bookshelf. So give it a chance.
Yeah.
Get lucky. Take flight with the dog Knight.
Exactly. And with that, folks, I will end our special edition of The Written Writ. We went from live from San Diego Comic-Con to live release of Luckyzilla. It's double the luck today, and you guys got all of it. So with that, I'll do what I always do on The Written Writ. I'll press the button, and where it stops,